everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Trust Your Board podcast. My name is Stephen Wright, joined by William Monroe. Got another mini mock here for you today. Will, what are we doing?
Steve, today we are doing a Dynasty Startup mini mock draft. Per usual, we're going to be doing the 5 rounds, but being Dynasty, you'll likely see ADPs and strategies change here a little bit. So I drew the 101, and you, sir, are at that 106 spot.
Awesome. Ready to get started?
Let's do it.
There we go. You're on the board.
All right. So first here in a Dynasty Startup Draft, the 101's tough because I know Steve and I kind of always preach building through the wide receiver core just because they last so much longer. And I think it's going to really depend on your league. If you think there's going to be a lot of activity in trading, then getting guys like Saquon and CMC are, it's already likely going to be the pick here, but are a lot more appealing because you're going to be able to get a ton for those running backs here in their prime years. Tough to decide between the two. I'm probably going to go with CMC. I know he's a little bit older, but I think his value is just out of this world. So I can take him and know that I'd be able to get, king's ransom for him. I think, our one Dynasty League, would Saquon go for like 4 or 5 first-round picks, rookie picks, Steve?
Yeah, that was an overpay. But yeah, I think it was 4 firsts, Paris Campbell, maybe a first in 2022, and then there's like a second in there or something. Yeah, it was a massive overpay. I think like 4 firsts is the norm. Yeah,
but getting, just that quantity of player, or you can always trade down. But if I'm making the pick and I'm building around a player, I think it's got to be McCaffrey here. Thomas, I think, he's what, like 26, 27 now. So I think while his shelf life is likely longer than Barkley and McCaffrey, probably not as much longer as people would think, just because he's maybe 5 years older than them. And the average wide receiver, I'd imagine somewhere between 5 and 7 years, usually plays age-wise longer. So it could go either way. I'd probably flip a coin between McCaffrey and Barkley. But this one, we're going to go with CMC here and be able to, as we mentioned, kind of get a king's ransom for him if you want to build around somebody else. But with the 101, we're going McCaffrey. After McCaffrey, Saquon, Michael Thomas, Ezekiel Elliott, and Dalvin Cook to you, Stevie.
Yeah, this is tough because, I always draft running backs first. Wide receivers first. And I'm staring down Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Godwin, Hopkins. There's a lot of good options here, but it's hard to pass up on CEH here. Mm-hmm. Get a young stud running back. I'd call him a stud. He hasn't even played yet, but that seems like that's his future. So I am going to draft Clyde Edwards-Helaire here. It's probably a bit of a reach, but he's not going to get back to me. And then from there, I'd be comfortable going with a wide receiver. Like I think DJ Moore could get back to me.
I think it also depends on how active you think your league's going to be, though, because if you think there is going to be a lot of trading, then, it doesn't matter that he's not going to last, 10 years like a wide receiver would. Even if you only get that 5 years out of him, you can trade him after 3 or 4 and be able to get, ton back for him.
Yeah, for sure. And when you're talking about people like CMC and Barkley, and CEH is kind of in that conversation, team 9, 10, 11, 12 who thought he might fall there are going to be disappointed, and maybe they'll make some stupid offer and you could take advantage of it. That stuff happens.
Especially if you allow, mid-pick or mid-round draft or mid-draft trading where you can, even make the pick and then put them on the block right away.
Yeah, exactly. So it could work out a lot of different ways. So I'm going to pick him here, and we'll see what gets back to me. I hope it for DJ Moore. So DeAndre Hopkins goes off the board. Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, and Chris Godwin. That rounds out the first round. In the second, Nick Chubb, Miles Sanders, Joe Mixon, Josh Jacobs, Julio Jones, still getting up in the second round despite being older. And then Juju at the 206. So I got my wish. DJ Moore does fall to me. Although there is a temptation of Jonathan Taylor, who I really didn't think was going to be here. But ending up with Clyde and Jonathan Taylor, that's dream come true right there. That gives me extreme youth at the running back position. They're going to last longer, and they both look like they're going to be studs. So that's actually really tough. I'll do it. Might be a wait around to get Dobbins. I don't know if you're going to let Dobbins pass. And I also kind of don't want Dobbins because I don't want that first year punt. I'll do Jonathan Taylor. Why not? We'll see what happens. We'll do something a little bit different and go double running backs. I'll go as young as you can. Both rookies. Both look to be absolute monsters in the future. So this really could be setting me up quite well. If they both bust, then I'm screwed. But, that's the risk you take sometimes. So Travis Kelce, Amari Cooper, Mike Evans, and then Patrick Mahomes goes off the board before you.
All right, so we'll take a look at the boards here. We've got Dobbins, Eckler, Swift, Aaron Jones, Cam Akers, Kenyon Drake. Still a lot of running backs available. We've got receiver DJ Moore, AJ Brown, Kenny Galladay, Odell Beckham, DK Metcalf, A-Rob. Tight end, we've still got the Kittle. We've still got Mark Andrews, Ertz. There's a lot of appealing players here. Quarterback is the interesting one, though. Lamar Jackson is, it seems almost like a cheat code in fantasy football here. And being so young, I know we preach not taking the quarterback, super early in most drafts. But in Dynasty, I probably go a little earlier to get the guy if you can, because it's a player that you're going to be able to build around for a while. They're going to, we say the opposite for running backs, right? But Lamar Jackson's an interesting option here. Kittle as well, getting that, upside shot. He's on the younger side as well. I'm surprised Kelce went ahead of him there.
Yeah, agreed. I figured Kittle would go first too.
Yeah. You still got DJ Moore, as we mentioned, someone that we both like. And, as we mentioned, Dobbins and Swift. Tough to not take either of them, but I don't think I can afford to pass up on Lamar Jackson, Kittle, or a wide receiver. So it kind of my don't want to go both quarterback and tight end that early here, and only have one of those really important positions here. So likely going to go with a wide receiver and then either Kittle or Lamar Jackson. If I'm looking at a wide receiver, it's probably going to be DJ Moore. I do like AJ Brown, a ton of upside there. Galladay's an interesting option as well. But as you and I said, we're both really high on Moore and think that he gets into that wide receiver one realm and stays there for a very long time. So Moore is going to be the first pick here. And then I have to debate between Kittle and Lamar Jackson. Now, if I'm looking just at the depth of the position, it's Kittle, just because you get that positional advantage early and you don't have to look back, Then you have just Lamar Jackson being Lamar Jackson and being able to pair him with McCaffrey, I feel like is a pretty big game changer. The length of career really, helps there as well. Tough. I think I'm going to stick to guns here, though, and I'm going to go with Kittle. It's tough to pass on Lamar, but just thinking long term, I want to get that tight end locked up here, have the positional advantage at two spots still. But I think I'll be able to get a solid quarterback, still in the mid round. Still have a ton of other options available. So I'm going to pass on Lamar here, and we're going to lock in Kittle as first tight end here on the team. After him goes Aaron Jones, Odell Beckham, Kenyon Drake, and Lamar Jackson right before you, so you don't have to make that decision.
Yeah, lucky. I was kind of dreading that, so I will take it. So we're going to turn to the wide receiver position. AJ Brown got here. That's great. Kenny Galladay, DK Metcalf, Allen Robinson, Calvin Ridley, Cortland Sutton. I mean, there's a lot of good options here. So I'm quite happy. And I think the guy I'm going to go with is going to be Kenny Galladay. You definitely got some younger options. AJ Brown could be amazing. DK Metcalf could be amazing. But AJ Brown's going to come down in that efficiency, and I don't know what he's going to look like once he comes down. And if Tannehill turns out to be kind of a one-year wonder, then that's going to hurt him as well. And as my first wide receiver, that could be damaging. DK Metcalf could be great, but that Seattle offense, will it ever get unleashed? Who knows? the offense that I know is unleashed is the Lions. They can want to be this running team all they want, but they don't have the defense to do it. Historically, they don't have the running backs to do it. So Kenny Golladay, I think, is pretty safe. I know he's not like super young. He feels really young, but I think he's like 26, 27. And that's fine with me. That's young enough. And I will go ahead and snag him with my first. And then ideally, we'll see a McLaurin or a Chark or something, a younger stud guy get back to me. I'd rather take the gamble on them than an A.J. Brown. So we'll see. A.J. Brown does go off the board right after my pick. Austin Eckler, Allen Robinson, Leonard Fournette, Todd Gurley, and then Deshaun Watson getting up there in the third. Starting with the fourth, Cooper Kupp, Mark Andrews.
It is half PPR.
Yeah, true. It is worth mentioning. Keenan Allen, 403. Stephon Diggs, 404. Chris Carson, and then Courtland Sutton goes off the board right before my pick, which is interesting. Metcalf's still here. We got Calvin Ridley, sorry. CeeDee Lamb, Terry McLaurin, DJ Chark. So it's quite interesting. I would really like to add Chark, but Metcalf's kind of appealing now. It's a round cheaper. He's got the quarterback. We know who his quarterback's going to be for the next few years. And I say few because Metcalf will eventually be a free agent, not that Russell's going anywhere. But McLaurin's kind of up in the air. DJ Chark's kind of up in the air. And, Calvin Ridley eventually is going to be up in the air. Calvin Ridley's probably the safer pick because Matt Ryan's going to be a while for a while. And maybe. Yeah, I think I am going to go Calvin Ridley. Plenty young, high draft capital. He's in an offense that chucks the ball, partially because they have to. And, Matt Ryan's not young, but he's still got plenty of time left. So I'm going to go ahead and make him as my pick. I trust the longevity of his situation a little bit more than everyone else around me. So there's going to be my younger play there in Calvin Ridley. And that's going to give me some flexibility coming back in the fifth. We'll see what gets back to me. Adam Thielen, Dak Prescott, David Johnson, and Terry McLaurin go off before your pick. We do need to burn through these kind of quick here, Will.
Gotcha. So a couple of interesting options. The three other rookie running backs, Dobbins, Swift, and Akers, all still available. And then we got DK Metcalf, CeeDee Lamb, DJ Chark, Judy, still a couple of big wide receivers available. Likely going to go one of each here. So I'm going to go with an upside shot at wide receiver. Look to do either DK Metcalf or DJ Chark. I'm going to go with the guy. I think Chark's probably the better overall player, but Metcalf has that offense around him. But we are looking long term as well. I'm going to go with more of the upside shot, and we'll take DJ Chark here first. So we lock in the double DJ at the wide receiver, and then running back. Going to look for the running back my choice here with either Dobbins or Swift. Tough here in Dynasty. I think I have to go with some more long-term play. I can definitely get another running back to fill the void there for this first year or even maybe the first few games for all we know. Swift also has a little competition. We'll see Akers as well, but I like Dobbins' situation here for these first 4 years, that first contract, the best out of the three. We'll lock in Dobbins there as my last pick here in this mini mock draft. After him goes DK Metcalf, Raheem Mostert, Tyler Lockett, and Devontae Parker.
Awesome. So I am back on the clock here. Running backs, we got to choose some. DeAndre Swift, Cam Akers, Melvin Gordon, David Montgomery. Wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Deebo Samuel, Tyler Boyd, Robert Woods, Michael Gallup. So plenty of solid options there. I will go ahead and turn to the running back position because there are plenty of wide receivers that I'm sure I'd be comfortable with somebody getting back to me, like a Robert Woods will sneak through or a Gallup, something like that. So we'll go ahead and take a shot at a running back. And I think I would rather have a little bit of known safety in David Montgomery. He's going to be a solid volume play. The upside's still there. The potential's still there, but we've seen it from him. We know he's not a complete bust. He's going to get plenty of volume. We haven't seen it from Swift. We haven't seen it from Akers. I'm not too interested in playing that game considering I already got Clyde and Jonathan Taylor. So we're going to go ahead and add Montgomery here. Not sure what I would do come the 6th round. Probably another running back, but I like how it's shaping up there. So we'll lock him in. We'll see what happens here to end out the round. Swift does go right after my pick. Marquise Hollywood Brown, Evan Ingram getting up there. Russell Wilson, Robert Woods, and Melvin Gordon round out the 5th. Will, you want to run down your team?
Yeah, so we have McCaffrey at the 101, DJ Moore and George Kittle at the 2-3 turn, and then DJ Chark and J.K. Dobbins at the 4-5 turn. Overall, I think it's a really good start to the team. Anytime you get to start with McCaffrey or Barkley, you're starting out on top and looking at that win now mode. So we've got DJ Moore, DJ Chark, 2 really good young receivers to build around. George Kittle as obviously positional advantage, and then getting one shot for the future there with Dobbins. Trade bait as well if needed. You can always move him for another more veteran back or another position if needed. But likely be going with a more ready to play right now running back here at the next turn to really have Dobbins as a potential flex bench option this year to then build around as the RB2 next year.
Awesome. So for my team, drafting out of the 6th spot, we got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jonathan Taylor, Kenny Galladay, Calvin Ridley, and David Montgomery. I like how things have shaken out. I have a very young running back group, so they're going to last a while, and they all have a lot of upside and pretty decent floors too. I mean, Jonathan Taylor's floor could be questionable considering Max there, but CEH, I mean, he's really the only guy there worth anything, and David Montgomery is going to get a lot of volume, so pretty safe there. Kenny Galladay and Calvin Ridley, both really comfortable in, and I'm flexible picking off values. So on this next pick, we got Boyd, we got Michael Gallup have both fallen. So that's a really good position. Cam Akers is still here. Kareem Hunt is still here. So those are great picks. I could also wait into the 7th round, and some of your older guys are eventually going to start falling to you. Mac, if I want to handcuff Jonathan Taylor, Ingram's going to be there. I'll get a year out of him. Jordan Howard, I'll get a year out of. Matt Breida, I'll get a year out of. And I'm okay with those guys because I got 3 young running backs that I'm going to be relying on for a long time. So overall, I like this start. It's a pretty interesting team. So with that said, that's going to wrap up today's mock. Tune in tomorrow for another mini mock. Until then, trust your board.